Every child in Valorant has heard the tale before about the cursed mummy boy who felt his heart no more. So sad and lorn, the helpless lad, Amumu was his name. He ventured out to find a friend and learn about his bane. For many years, young Amumu traveled through the lands, determined to make friends if only they would understand. But even when Amumu stood upon the ledge of home, his hope would disappoint him and he would remain alone. But then the curse began to whisper in his ear. It would confirm what was Amumu's biggest fear. It pledged that never shall someone become his friend. It pledged that he shall be alone until his end. Sorrow and despair became too much to bear. The moment when Amumu realized what he had done, too late it was for him, for them, the evil curse had won. The anger and the anguish overwhelmed his fragile soul and caused a wicked tantrum that he never could control.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Casual Esports Amateur League's Noxian Semifinals. I'm your host, Ansem571, with my beautiful co-host, Vaby.
Hey everyone, nice to see you this evening. Thanks for the compliment. We've got a first seed versus fourth seed semifinal matchup lined up here, and I think it's going to be really exciting, don't you think, Ansem?
I think so. Stormriders, they really pushed the envelope in their quarterfinal match to prove that yes, they deserve to be here with a quick and easily done 2-0. At least that's what my memory says. I don't remember.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see more from them. It should be really exciting to see if they can keep this roll going against our number one seed in Imagine Shadows. We do see that we're moving on into the draft here with some bans coming out from either side. Imagine Shadows starting us off with an Ashe ban, a Brand ban, and a Leona ban. Lots of priority being put on bot side. Stormriders, however, looking towards maybe more the top jungle area of the map with this Trundle and Hecarim and getting rid of the Pyke while they're at it.
Yeah, so Pyke is a very niche kind of a champion, so that that's 100% a target ban. There are other more prevalent hook champions like Thresh and Nautilus, so probably just saying we don't want him to actually have his best. Which is kind of funny. Lygos is actually a Thresh player, from my knowledge, not so much a Pyke player. So that's going to be interesting.
So really calling him out there, I think, then saying like, I bet that you can't do it, right? You can't play Thresh into us. We see that Caitlyn Morgana locked in really quick too, as well. Followed up here by the Thresh. So Lygos taking the bait into the Morgana lane. It should be interesting to see how this plays out.
So way back when, just a couple years ago, this was actually a very favorable matchup for Thresh, ironically enough, because Morganas would just autopilot maxing your Q and putting your 1 points in W and E. So by doing that, Thresh would be able to break her shield with an auto attack and then layer the CC. Now it's I believe it's that her shield's base is strong enough at level 1 that it's able to match it to where he would need to do 2 auto attacks.
Yeah, and we don't see any AP damage really coming out from the Jhin. A little bit from his W, maybe? Does Jhin W do magic damage?
No, it's his E that does magic damage.
Okay.
The trap.
So it doesn't look like any easy black shield breaks coming in from the spot lane then without wasting CC on it.
But we've got the Binding Sisters of sorts, with Lux being picked up for that mid lane. I don't think that's... So, probably the idea is just to force the wave to always be in, but Ryze can wave clear just as easily as Lux can, so I'm not sure if Lux is the real pick here. But we're seeing not 1, not 2, maybe not 3, waiting on the last pick. Is it going to be 4 jungle bans?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think on...
And we do. We are seeing 4 jungle bans with the Jarvan coming out. And we are getting a Wukong hover. I actually like it here. I unironically like it here. To disrupt what Ryze can do. Because he can get going very early. But we're probably not going to get Wukong, unfortunately. I don't think that he is good enough of a champion. And just like that, we are getting a Kayn, which I would assume... So the better Kayn would be the red Kayn, but I would assume because of chaoticness would be red Kayn. Or,
yeah,
sorry, blue Kayn. Blue Kayn, sorry.
It'll be interesting to see which way they go with it right now. I think it could still be dynamic, like left in the air based on...
Wait, that's a locked Varus. Is that Ryze top?
I'm not seeing any calls for mispicks, so yeah, I think that might be what we're seeing here, unless there's a really weird jungle pick going on. Varus mid, Jhin bot, Ryze top as it stands, I'd say.
I mean...
Interesting to flex the Ryze without knowing the top laner, though.
Yeah, because that's jungle.
Flex. Yeah.
Well, that's the jungle of them. So
I would imagine.
Because Ryze can't jungle, and neither can either of the AD carries, so...
I don't know, man. We played our finals against an Urgot jungle main, so I don't know what can and can't jungle these days.
I remember Jinx for a time could.
I was, if you're thinking of a specific YouTube video from a specific YouTuber playing Jinx jungle, I was in that YouTube video.
It probably was, but it was from several years ago.
From 2013, yeah, I was in that video.
Oh god.
God,
yeah, you're just...
way back.
How long have you been playing this game?
So I've realized that I've been playing for 10 years.
Same. Okay, well, I've been playing since season 1.
Yeah,
so,
I started on a lease patch.
Oh, that was season 2.
Yep, that was season 2.
You know what patch I started on? Leona.
Yikes! I don't even know when that was.
That was before Wukong.
Interesting. Okay. We should probably get them ready, eh? Yeah. Okay, so let's take a minute to just talk about these drafts while they get locked in on the side here. We do see this very interesting pivot to the Varus mid lane coming out from Imagine Shadows, moving the Rise up top lane, which results in a Varus versus Lux mid matchup. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't played this mid matchup super often.
You mean you aren't well versed in every matchup possible?
Not in this one. I have played it at least once back when Varus was meta, I bet. But I do think it's Lux favored. Lux has more range than Varus and does more damage than Varus during lane phase, just while Varus is waiting for Q points.
Yeah, so in this, I would assume that Lux actually has the advantage in this matchup. Not so much in terms of just damage, but wave clear potential.
Yeah.
Until Varus gets going a little bit with his items. Maybe after he gets his Manamune, he'll be good. Like, I'm assuming this is a poke Varus.
Yeah, I'm assuming so as well. One of the issues I do see for Imagine Shadows going into this game is they have 2 losing lanes and a stalemate lane that requires mana to get shoved versus a Kayn.
Yeah,
Kayn might just get free reign to scale here.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the Varus was the pick here. Like, if at this point you picked, like... Because you effectively put the Rise in a situation where he is going to go into either match. Like, I would have much rather have him go into the Lux matchup because he matches that clear just as good. And he scales better than Lux, in my opinion. So... they could have gone with that route, but now it's just going to be a farm fest for top lane. It's going to be really difficult if Imagine Shadows gets behind, because then they don't really have somebody that can go in front. Like, technically Thresh goes in front, but like he doesn't want to be the first guy in.
Well, if I will say something about these comps, it's that Gwen is immune. Like, actually just immune to these champions, right? All of the CC coming from the Stormriders is almost certainly going to be from outside of Gwen W.
Yeah, like the bindings and the traps.
Even Kayn W and Scion Q are both ranged abilities typically with regards to where their actual body and hitbox are placed. So Gwen might just be able to face check things for Shadows, but
that's also assuming that for that instance, like, Scion doesn't just straight up ult onto Gwen's face.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how these fights play out. I think it's really, really execution heavy for Imagine Shadows pulling out the 4 ranged and a Gwen comp versus something as long ranged as Caitlyn Lux.
Yeah, like what I'm seeing from Shadows is probably more something that I would see in a professional game. That just says that we are just going to outskill you, basically.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they manage to pull that off. On the other side, Stormriders pulling out this Caitlyn Morgana, the Lux. There's lots and lots of range, tons of objective setup.
Yep.
Good setup for the Kayn, and a nice beefy Scion to stand in front of all of them. So
just really in case, it's like just in case, we may need to change positioning, and it'll all be good that way. So, yeah, I gotta say, I kind of gotta give it to Stormriders on this one. They did a very, very solid draft. Maybe change out the Lux for something a little better, but otherwise, I really like it.
I do wonder, though, like, the Lux pick is interesting, but I wonder what exactly you'd swap it out for as an R3 pick. That ends up working as well as it does with the comp where it is now. Like, you could look at any other poke mage, perhaps like a Xerath or a Ziggs, but at the end of the day, Lux provides roughly the same things that they do, with varying degrees of trading for burst CC or sustained damage.
Alright, so we've got a couple of minutes in, so I would like to do what I've been doing against, or for all the teams in playoffs so far, is secret strats from all the teams. So, Stormriders, their strategy. Yes, I am spoiling all the secret strategies. It's a meme. Chill out, guys. I'm not actually spoiling anything of how they're planning to do this game. So their strategy was jungle, ward, hover Wukong. The hover Wukong is because I was a Wukong main once upon a time. That was my first real main champion that I played. Yes, I was bronze on it. Big deal. I made it to diamond, so get off my back about it. And then for Imagine Shadows, get this, their secret strategy is to practice for next week. This match is practice for next week. They're already they already see themselves in the finals. That's pretty confident considering you do this kind of a draft.
Yeah, I dare say that goes from maybe confidence into cockiness at this point. You better hope that you're skill gapping them in every single lane here with a draft like this, because this is not what I would call a draft gap.
Yeah, no, you got draft capped. So, if they drop even just this game, then everybody just goes, well, are you really practicing for next week, or are you practicing for next season?
Exactly. I mean, I've seen this happen before. I seem to recall a certain 2015 series between Coup Tigers and World Elite, where maybe a favorite team decided to pick champions.
Oh my god!
TSM an international trophy.
When they definitely didn't deserve it. Like, instead of getting the top Chinese team they got World Elite, and instead of the top Korean team they got what was it?
Remember who they beat at that tournament?
It was the up and coming team from the Challengers, but
oh, they did.
I loved the ESC Ever.
Yeah, they beat it. TSM winning an international tournament
against teams,
the best team in the world,
against teams that weren't even in pro play. But
yeah,
we're getting into this. Chat, who do you think is going to win? Imagine Shadows on the blue side, Stormriders on the red side. Let's go.
Alright. Waiting for this game to load in and see where we're going with these things. Taking a look at the keystones, I don't think we see anything too out of the ordinary. Well, maybe we do. We do see
we've got some
strike.
Poor people here with the Gwen and Varus. Gwen going Ghost. I've seen both Ghost and Flash. I still prefer Flash just because it does give you that little bit of extra range that you ordinarily wouldn't have had.
I don't think there's anything for the Gwen that she there's no CC that I think she desperately has to flash here, and she can just walk away from Kayn. Kayn's not gonna stick to her in the same way that some other champions will until he gets some levels going. So I don't mind the Ghost. The first strike Kayn is interesting. Seth certainly leans very heavily towards blue Kayn, which I'm not surprised about going into a comp that's this squishy.
Nocturne!
What is going on here? Is this normal?
So, a few patches ago, Riot decided that they weren't actually going to fix their client, so they let it deteriorate to the point where Nocturne basically creeps into all games now.
Interesting.
So, just relaunch it.
Alright.
Sorry, folks. This is literally not my fault. I literally have no ability to control this. It's completely random.
Yeah, no worries, man. Riot clients are.
Oh yeah, today is April Fool's Day, guys. There's quite a few interactions that happen. I don't think they're going to happen in a custom game, but if you go into normals, there's a few interesting things that happen. Minions will emote. If you get a kill, your champion's hitbox and model gets larger, and if you die, it gets smaller.
That's interesting. Now, how do I spectate this game? Because I can't piggyback off of you.
You can't?
No, I cannot.
Do you have any of them as friends?
No, I do not.
You don't have
you
like
got
us?
Discord.
Yeah, so the shitty way that we had last time. Alright, let me stream
Let's
it.
go!
You at least get 1080p still, so.
Yeah, I'll add one of them after and make sure this doesn't happen next time.
Alright.
I'm good.
Alright, ready? Let's
Yep.
go.
Alright, so as we get into this game, it'll be interesting to see if any level 1 come out here. We do have the Thresh Hook as a possible invade opportunity.
We have the counter invade here from blue side, but red side's kind of split in doing a 2 and 3 invade. There's no wards. They have no idea. Oh, this is also a bug that's happening. So you see how some people don't have items? Hide, show scoreboard. It's now fixed.
Nice. Alright, well, we do see...
There's so many things that Riot can't make work properly. Like, come on, man.
Alright, so we see a Dorn Shield coming out from the Caitlyn here. Do you have any thoughts on this? Because I sure do.
So I think it's kind of troll, in my opinion. You're already one of the longest range characters in the game, period. As long as Thresh isn't basically in melee range, you're fine. So just go with either a longsword if you feel confident, or a blade.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly feel like the Dorn Shield here is saying, like, I don't want to get poked out, but
like you're the team that has poke. That's what you have the poke. That's what your team is. You're the poke team.
Yeah, and that's what longsword's for. You get 3 pots instead of 1, and you do more damage with longsword, not just because it has AD, but because you get to proc the less max HP thing.
Yeah. Or you go like with what the Jhin did and go longsword refill.
Yeah, if you want to save money, you can do that for sure too. I actually think the refill is a bit of a troll from the Jhin as well, but it looks like he won't be punished thanks to the Caitlyn itemization. Do see
by luck. And Caitlyn's level 2, like, you should be pressuring this. I understand Morgana isn't, but that's her own fault. As a support main, it's like, it's your own fault for not hitting 2 with your carry when your carry is hit 2.
Yeah. We do have the tier start top lane for Rise.
Oh, Kane's ganking, he's level 3.
I don't think there's anything here. It's just hovering, making sure that Gwen doesn't gank, I suppose. It's a really interesting clear from the Kane to hover topside with. Perhaps he's looking for the invade or the gank.
Oh, he's ganking in mid. Already got the flash off. Ooh, nice binding. And that is first blood going over to the Lux with the good job from the Kane.
Yeah, that was actually a good gank timing. The Varus a little bit overextended there, perhaps not expecting the Kane to come from straight behind him. And being able to pick up the slow into a nice flash binding from the Lux. That'll set her ahead pretty far in this lane with either an additional starting item or just working towards her mana faster. Which means I think mid lane's just pretty doomed as far as pressure is concerned.
Oh, but now Sion overstepping his bounds. And now this one goes over to the Gwen. I'm actually kind of okay with that since Rise already has his core items.
Yeah, Rise is full build actually, so...
Yeah, everything from here is just extra.
Sion setting up a freeze on himself with his own clone there is a little bit suspect. Gonna have to consider?
Yeah. Rise will TP.
He's just gonna sack it.
I mean, that's kind of fine. Oh, nice hook from Lygos. Gets the pullback. Got, I believe, 2 tower shots off on that Kane. Very good job from him. Even forcing the heal out of the Caitlyn.
Yeah, that's a good trade bot lane. Kane going in there for what I can only imagine is just stacks, not expecting a real gank to come through there. but
Meanwhile,
does get
nice
stacks.
dodging. Meanwhile, Caitlyn just fearless going in on this Thresh, doing some pretty good damage to him. Had the
Yeah,
minions
knows
to
what
back
I'm
her up.
saying.
Meanwhile, Gwen ganking again into the mid lane, does get the binding off onto her from the Lux, and that will be it from this gank here.
Lux still has TP available though. She's gonna use the rest of her mana, shove out another wave, and then head back and spend that first blood gold, I'd imagine.
The Varus poke is already coming out, doing about 25% of Lux's health there, if you saw.
Yeah, but it's alright for her right now. The Varus is already back. He's already spent his gold, so
Yep.
he has the advantage in the lane right now. But once Lux gets back in with the TP, everything should be fine. Some smacking going in on the top lane, but like I said, I don't
Oh,
really
but Kane's
expect...
ganking now. Ryze does not have any mana. He does have his flash, gets slowed up by the Kane. Will flash anyways. Kane is just going to get caught up to him eventually and chooses not to dive.
Yeah, I don't think Kane had...
Oh, flash coming out from the Thresh. Got the hook. And now is waiting for the pullback. Does use his E anyways onto the Morgana. Now Gwen ganking in onto the Morgana. Does actually get the a bit of damage off, but will not be getting a kill. Meanwhile, does dodge the Morgana binding and will get one last Q to say goodbye, Caitlyn, and goodbye, Morgana. Let me tax your lane real quick, Jen. Thank you.
Yeah, good damage coming out bot side. Both bot lanes pretty low right now, relying on
That
jungle
was-
pressure.
That was actually a pretty good hook. They just didn't have any mana to actually do anything with the hook after.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I would have gone for the hook myself, seeing as the black shield was up, but
Yeah,
definitely...
so the hook was fine. I think going after the hook is where it got a little sus.
Well, yeah. Going for the flash hook with black shield up is always a little risky, I think.
Yeah, she did mistime it, so he did get the hook off, which was already valued. Oh, but now we're having a gank in with the Scion going on with his R. Ryze is going to be dropping very quickly with the Kane picking up the kill. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, we do see Gwen picking up the Cloud Drake, Earth Drake.
Everybody's favorite dragons.
Also,
Yeah, another good gank coming in top lane though. This Ryze is being punished a little bit by the Kane's ability to just gank through thick walls.
Also, it seems that
Dragons don't exist.
the times for it's not an option anymore.
Yeah, no, I see that. That's
What?
interesting.
Yeah, so for those of you who can't see, you're not alone. I can't see that option anymore. It's just not there for spectate.
Yeah.
I can't see my
Dragons
timers.
don't exist anymore.
I can't see my timers. I'm just going to...
This,
Okay, it's an Infernal Drake.
Alright, client's popping off, man. We don't
What
need to
is
know what
this?
dragons are. We don't need timers. Can we tab? Does tab work?
Tab just hides scoreboard
No,
here.
it doesn't.
Tab just hides
That's
scoreboard.
so funny.
You make me
Alright.
sick.
Well, right now, game's still pretty even. We do see the early dragon going over to the side of Imagined Shadows, but I don't suspect that is going to be too worrisome.
Oh, we have Kane going in. We do not get the binding off. Got a slow. Got the ultimate, but the ultimate actually missed. So got a flash though, which is still very worth it against a immobile Varus.
Yeah, and more stacks coming in for this Kane. I have to imagine the transform.
Oh, the hook does land onto her, but she is going to be fine thanks to the Morgana binding lasting just long enough.
Yeah, Morgana bind, Black Shield still a big
Wait, how is
player.
Jin out of mana already? Didn't he just get back?
Because he didn't start Dorn Shield.
Oh, we actually got an ultimate out from the Caitlyn. Does point blank ultimate onto this Thresh and just ignores the fact that Jin is also there in front of her. Got the kill, but costed both the heal and the flash because she thought she was going to take turret aggro. She did not. So, trade of summoners for a trade of a life. As Caitlyn, you kind of take worth.
Yeah, I mean, I have to sort of call out the Thresh hook there, too, which was pretty schnasty going around multiple
Yeah, that was actually, like, as clean of a hook as he was going to get for that kind of a situation. Like, he's dead if he doesn't hook, and he's dead if he does. So he just kind of had to hope, like, hey, do I get the hook before the ult comes out? Maybe? Please? No?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe if they were a little more coordinated down on
Oh,
the
Sion actually going in, got the ultimate off onto the Gwen. Now Kane flashing in, making sure to pick up that kill. And that will be going down with the Rift Herald also being picked up for the Kane.
Another timely Scion ulti picking up another kill for this Kane. Really starting to snowball. I don't think that...
Immediately dropping the Rift. I'm not sure if that's the play. But hey, you know, that first strike is it's putting in work. How much has he gotten from this thing?
What, less than 100, I have to imagine.
Oh, we actually saw Lux actually ultimate, then tried to flash to get the auto off onto Varus, but was unable to finish the kill.
More damage coming in bot lane, but Jin's gonna have to leave that lane.
Kane is already coming in hot. He is the blue Kane, but he will not be able to get fast enough. They will be able to escape bottom lane.
And a really quick transform for blue Kane. Turns out when every champion on the enemy team, that except for their jungler, is ranged,
it kind of helps.
Every 30 seconds.
Yeah, it kind of helps. Ooh, nice hook from the Thresh, but doesn't get her into range just quite. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Gwen is ganking the Lux. Does get the Varus ultimate onto her, and the Varus will be picking up this kill here. Getting a little bit of revenge there in the mid lane.
Yeah, and we do see CS advantages actually appearing.
Oh my god, he hooked that? How do you get that hook? Oh, but he's actually going to help get that kill.
Block!
Oh, and actually stepped out of the way just enough. Now we got the flashes coming out from both the bottom lane supports. And that is actually a Chad Thresh right there.
They baited him. They're like, pick the Thresh into Morgana, Caitlyn, we dare you. And he took it, he looked him in the eyes and said, try me.
Try me, bitch. Now, Bunny Fufu, take notes. And if she doesn't know who that is, she's too young for you, bro.
Yeah, that's well, probably true. We do see Gwen being immune to multiple skill shots and ultimates there, walking into the pit.
I don't know if you saw that. So Thresh was actually trapped in the back of the dragon pit, so he had to wait for the damage of the dragon to run off so he could hex flash over.
Nice. Everybody escapes. That is 2 dragons to the side of Imagine Shadow now. With the early stack coming in, we do see a Hextech Rift. Everyone's favorite Rift, I have to imagine, because Hex skates.
It's every game.
Fun. Well, you know what? If it were every game, I'd be happy. Hex skates are fun. I can't say anything different, right?
I prefer having that over Ocean Soul. Like, at least with Hex Dragon, you can still play around it. With Ocean Soul, it's like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I can bring them down to 10% HP. They hit me once for like 50 damage, but they heal for everything? What? That's not fair.
Yeah.
Like, what counterplay is there for me to be able to try to come back in? Like, if I'm playing out of my mind, I should be able to come back in, but I'm not able to, because shitty game mechanics. Oh, but we do have Gwen ganking in onto this bottom lane, already ghosted, already going in onto the Caitlyn. We do have the ultimate going off. Jhin is locked up by the Morgana, actually. Meanwhile, Morgana uses her ultimate to get more stuns off. Thresh pulls him back in just a little bit more and will be taking both kills thanks to that ultimate getting the Morgana.
Yeah, Morgana there making the smart play, suiciding into the Thresh cage there, but big plays coming in the bot lane, even though both kills going over to the Thresh. It's a lot of pressure, a lot of plates. Should be first turret as well going down in the bot lane, but mid,
Varus already using his ultimate. We do have a lot of damage being dropped back onto the Lux, but will not be enough. Takes her down to about 30%, but that will be her death ward.
Yeah, I think this game's really going to come down to how much work can the Kane do on these flanks? Because Thresh and Jin getting pretty far ahead in the bot lane. Gwen's doing fine,
Jin?
scaling up.
Jin's just along for the rise. Or Jin's just along for the ride. Because this Thresh is actually doing a really good job with his hooks. Just literally curving the bullet against some minions here.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. You see a Jin ulti coming out top lane. Sion feels threatened by the Feather Duster.
Yeah, Jin went Gale Force, so it doesn't really do too much damage. Meanwhile, Lux drops about 30% HP with that ultimate onto the Thresh there. Meanwhile, we have Kane going in with the Prowler's Claw onto the Varus and will evaporate him.
Oh!
Red buff ticking, doesn't actually finish him, but will be able to kill this Thresh. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane. Meanwhile, we do have the Flash coming out with the Kane, getting the he gets slash.
Yeah, that man, he's in the grave now. Kane, yeah, really starting to snowball. Has the Prowler's Claw, has the Tear, has the Boots, has the Transform, and now has 5 kills.
Meanwhile, Caitlyn's trying to 1v1 this Rise. I don't think you win these. He actually has armor.
Yeah. I wanted to comment a little bit on this Morgana build, deciding to go for a Mythic and a Stopwatch, which I don't really with.
Yeah, like, so, like, you go for the... So, if you went for the Stopwatch, I feel like you go straight into the Zhonya's, just because it'll just be that big of a value.
Yeah, I agree.
Your Sightstone item does enough for you otherwise. You don't really need your Mythic. If you do get a Mythic, it would be something that's actually supportive, not Tickle Me Elmo build.
Yeah, I really like, on Morgana, I like going Zhonya's into Everfrost.
Yep. To keep them locked. They aren't allowed to leave.
Yeah, that gives you, I think, 5.5
Ooh, nice ultimate coming out from the Varus. Makes sure that the Kane can't get the ultimate off.
I think at 4 items, you can do an 8.5 second CC combo on Morgana with Everfrost.
Yep, where they...
Just because you can Q into ulti, into Everfrost, into Q.
Yeah, where if they're melee, they actually just can't damage you.
Yeah, if you don't have tenacity, you will just die, like solo to the Morgana, just doing that, I'd imagine.
Meanwhile,
she doesn't do a whole lot of damage.
Shadow is looking to start up this dragon, already brought down to 4,000. Sion using his ultimate already. The Rise has already been shut down by the Sion. And now the Kane will be picking up the Gwen as well, and that'll be first Hex Dragon for their side. I'm in a tongue twister mood, if you could not tell.
Gold stays even, but I think these comps... I mean, there's a lot of scaling on both sides, but I just don't think that this Rise is going to have an easy time hitting anyone other than the Kane. So it's really going to come down to whether or not Kane can do his work without getting point and clicks done, I think.
So, if the Varus actually got, like he did earlier while he was under tower, a point-blank ultimate onto the Kane. Meanwhile here, we do have both Thresh and the Jin trying to escape from the Kane Morgana. Morgana will be saved thanks to the minion that was in front of her. I didn't even see that minion. Now we have a party up in top lane while nothing really happening in bottom lane.
It should be interesting to see where we go from here. Otherwise, itemization seems pretty standard across the board with the exception of Morgana. We do see Nashor's Burst on Gwen, which I think is pretty... I don't know what the Gwen jungle standard is, but
so,
it doesn't seem that bad.
So, it doesn't feel that bad because she did get a Leeching Leer. So, however, this Thresh, you've been doing so good all game and then you make a mistake. What are you doing, my guy? I've been singing your praises. You do not need to farm. Meanwhile, Jin, however, he definitely does not need this farm. What he needs is health, and he's not going to have any of it left after this Kane is done with him.
I wonder if, as the Jin here, you're just going to third item GA.
I mean,
GA or Zhonya's, right? Take your pick.
I love doing that on ARAM, where I'll actually on an 80 carry just take a Zanya's as the final item, just to like mind blow the enemy team. It's like, wait, Caitlyn, you're kind of running it if you're staying here much longer.
Kind of getting saucy with it, I think. We'll be able to steal.
Meanwhile, here Gwen is actually going in onto the Gwen and to the Lux. Doesn't hit the first R, but hits the second one. Now she's got one more, and she already has used it. Misses, and will be bound up by the Lux. Does, however, take the Morgana down.
And Morgana presses R, stands still for a moment, and disappears.
Because she finished her Leandry's first.
Yeah, do have to question that. I don't like the Leandry's. I don't like the lack of Zonia's. I don't like the lack of CDR boots, but...
So, Vaby, I have to ask, just because, what is your main role?
I am a mid laner by trade, but I play practically everything, except for jungle.
Ah. So I am a top laner by trade, support by team. Because that's what I'm better at in competitive play. I cannot jungle. Do not ask me to jungle. I do not know how to do pathing or tracking. I don't know how to do that. That's somebody else. That's somebody with a brains job. I just look for hooks. That's all I do.
I can follow pathing and clears, but as far as I just don't like playing the role, so I never play it, so I never learn any of the matchups.
Yep. Yeah. So I definitely get you with all these choices that some of these laners are making are questionable. I do like the Rise going for the Frozen Heart. That's kind of cool.
Frozen Heart is definitely the way to go this game.
And he has finished his tier. He just hasn't upgraded it.
Yeah, I wonder if saving the tier upgrade is correct though. Like I feel.
I think he upgrades it now.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not going to. Okay, he is. Okay, he is. Like he's listening to the stream basically. He's
gone 3 minutes into the future vision.
Yes, for those of you who are wondering, yes, this is on a 3-minute spectator delay. He physically could not hear us.
The Rise looking for the pick onto the Scion in the bot lane though. Looking like he's gonna go down here and just picking up the kill, giving it to Varus.
Thank you for casting that one. I was a little thirsty. These people like to fight. I don't know why. It's just see champion, kill champion, right, guys?
This is actually pretty tame for a CEAL game, I feel. Only 18 at 22. We do see the dragon fights.
Oh, we actually see Thresh flashing over, getting the hook onto the Lux. Goes in on with the hook, does get the last shot with the Jhin for the second shot, actually, off onto her.
And the dragon looking...
Gwen is actually kind of low. She actually has to be careful here. She's going to have to smite early. She smites early. Both smites are down. It's only a matter of time, and it actually goes down to the Jhin. Meanwhile, on the back of it, you saw that the Kayn actually did go down. Meanwhile, at the same time, Caitlyn just running it down in mid lane, trying to get this inhibitor. Varus lands the ultimate off onto her. Doesn't take too much damage yet, down by about 45%. Does look to be getting this inhibitor, and now is the escape time. Thresh with the good flay. Meanwhile, Caitlyn does use the flash, and Rise tries to follow. Does get the kill for the Gwen. Now it's just the Scion. Who's going to die? Is it going to be anybody besides the Scion? It's looking to be very close for the Gwen. She is getting pretty low. She does survive, and now Thresh actually flays the Scion towards him and gets killed by the passive.
As we all know, there's only one direction for Flay, and it is towards you, so...
Yeah, I actually... So, I told this in a stream a few weeks ago. I actually got verbally abused by my 80 carry in a solo queue game, where I was Thresh, and it was paired with the Jinx. I flayed the guy towards me instead of towards the Chompers once. Literally once. And it was after she was 3-0, 4 or 5 minutes in. Thresh, I hope the next time you drive, you crash.
Yeah. It's,
like...
That's /mute all at the beginning of the game for me. me.
I was like, what the fuck? I'm support. I'm supposed to be able to talk to everybody. Meanwhile, Lux is kind of alone out here. And does get dropped from the Gwen. Gwen using the final ultimate onto the wave. But the red side is already on that Baron. Down below 9,000. Dropping pretty quickly without their AD carry, Caitlyn.
Yeah,
Nobody has any knowledge of it. They're pinging the dragon. Somebody just question pinged it from the blue side. They do know that it's going down. And now it's gone before they could even get there.
Yeah, I think maybe a little bit of forgetfulness coming out from the side of Imagine Shadows there, sending their jungler bot at 24 minutes.
I think
then 4 people disappear off the map.
Yeah, like that's just not due diligence. We actually see the Thresh getting ulted by both the Caitlyn and the Kayn. Kayn will be picking that one up. You know, this is just practice for next week, right?
Yeah. Something actually to note from the earlier Dragon fight, Thresh picked up the 1k shutdown on Kayn. So this
Sion actually going to try to ult onto the Jhin. Jhin using the Gale Force. Kayn triple dashing onto this Jhin with the help of the Prowler's Claw.
When was Kayn released? What year is this?
Season 7, I think? Season 8?
Yeah, this is what we call a new champion.
New Year, same difference. Oh, and the Rise actually stepped onto a trap. Caitlyn free firing for days, having almost no issues besides this tower, and that will go down too. This looks like to be game 1, going over to Stormriders. And guys, this is only a best of 3. They went one more, and that's it for Imagine Shadows.
Yeah, I think, they're just trying to get as many games practice as possible.
Understandable. Nice flex. Alright.
Alright. Yeah, you see...
I respect the grind.
They knew they needed some practice.
I respect the grind.
Exactly. It's all about the grind. In seriousness, though, I think we really have to take a look at this draft. I don't think anyone on the side of Imagine Shadows played particularly badly this game. Their draft was just atrocious. Their lane matchups were bad, and they were thematically countered everywhere.
Yeah, like it came up to the part where we mentioned earlier that it became Imagine Shadows had to skill check their opponents, and the Thresh was for a good while. He was actually like popping off with those hooks. Unfortunately, the rest of his team wasn't. Yeah. So. Just a couple of missteps here, like with the Baron, missteps in the top lane where the tower was falling and they kind of just haphazardly reacted to it. Clean those things up, but the easiest thing to clean up is the draft. That is by far the easiest thing to clean up. Don't do this like weird flex that isn't really a good flex. The Rise top is...
the 2 worst matchups,
Yeah, like, the Rise top lane is whatever. Like, yeah, that's a bad matchup, but it's whatever. But put something that's actually going to punish the Lux, because you knew that it was a Lux before then. So...
Hey, but on the bright side, next season, they're going to be so afraid of the Varus mid.
Yeah, so, we are going to take a quick intermission. We will be right back with Game 2. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We are going into Game 2 of Imagine Shadow versus Stormriders. Stormriders, after a very questionable draft by Imagine Shadows, does take the lead in this series 1-0. If they get the 2-0, Stormriders will move on to the finals next week. And I believe they will be playing against Orange Forge Esports Academy.
Yeah, and let's not forget here, Imagine Shadows coming in very, very confident as the first seed here. And, drafted themselves into a bit of a hole, so I'd like to see them correct that, straighten out their play a little bit, and draft something a little more conventional.
Yeah, so this kind of happened to my team, not this season, but last season. We lost, I think, a total of 2 games out of 14 in the regular season. We went to the semifinals immediately, and we got swept. We were overconfident, but that was almost deservedly so. We were by and far the best team in our division. We did have some missteps where it was Comcast diff. None of us could play without lagging for a solid 2 or 3 seconds. So we will stick to that as our go-to. But still, the fact of the matter is we were very confident. We didn't get to play the way we wanted to, but Imagine Shadow, they are looking to kind of just throw themselves to the wayside very quickly.
Yeah, speaking of that, Imagine Shadow, looking for the Freljord comp here, very, very early in this draft here. Braum and Sedge coming out. Struggle's gone, so Sedge is a little safer, but Braum into Caitlyn with no other information is a little bit weird for me, especially with how good Lygos was on Thresh.
Yeah, Lygos, in my opinion, was the superstar for Imagine Shadow's last game. He was landing hooks that I don't think you're allowed to hit, in my opinion. And they were against Omorgana, so, very good job from him. I'm not sure how his Braum is. I have not seen it personally, so I cannot attest to how good or bad it is. But again, into Morgana, that's a little questionable, I would say.
Yeah, I have to wonder what we're going to see coming out here in the AD carry position. I assume we'll either see another Lux or AD carry come out on this pick. It will be the Ashe. So, full Freljord.
Are we actually just doing a full Freljord? What are their Freljord champions? Tryndamere, he's literally the king.
Yeah.
Yeah, at this point, you just ban Freljord champions. Lysandra.
Udyr. Yeah, I mean, there's Nunu. There's a lot of Freljord champs. Olaf. But if Imagine Shadows is actually going for a theme draft after last game, I don't know.
I don't know how I feel about it.
We'll see. I mean, it's
if they do, then I'll just think it's pretty cool of them to boast that they were just practicing for next week. Is next week Clash?
I mean, I'm assuming next week was referring to them in the finals, but
darn.
I don't know if it is Clash. If it's not Clash this week, then it's probably Clash next week.
Valentino promised a spicy mid. What did Valentino get you? Ahri. That's what he gets you. He gets you Ahri.
I mean, Ahri's pretty milquetoast, but I think it's like...
that's not a Freljord champion. Wait, what is their obsession with Varus mid?
I don't know, I don't know.
That's actually,
This is not Kai'Sa. This is not a Kai'Sa.
This is not a Kai'Sa champion.
Why are you picking Varus when Kai'Sa's up?
Yeah, if you wanted to do, this really, niche poke champion that takes people's health to half, Kai'Sa is available.
And it's just... Is Varus... What is Varus? Is Varus Freljord in some way?
No, he's not. He's a Darkin.
He's a Darkin, but where from this Darkin?
Irrelevant.
Okay.
Because Darkin are beings from ancient times, even before Shurima.
I'll wait for LOR to tell me where Varus is.
Um, Cho'Gath is the Void, so clear 100% not a Freljord champion. So
yeah.
All
right, so
well,
this is a draft again.
So while we are getting into picks and bans, I will do some lore check.
All right. While you're looking at that, I'll discuss this a little bit more. So even though we have Varus mid lane, which doesn't really synergize the best with the Sejuani, I think naturally here you'd like to see maybe a Sylas pick come out, or some other strong melee champion with an attack speed steroid. Maybe a Yone, a Yasuo, something to that effect. But the Varus isn't going to hurt too much. They didn't pick a ranged top laner, thankfully. The Cho'Gath should have some good synergy with the Sejuani passive. But again, we see a really weird comp from Imagine Shadows. This Varus mid lane feels very out of place in what is ostensibly an engaged comp with no consistent damage. Now walking into Urgot, Viego, Morgana, Ahri, Caitlyn, it's going to be, I feel, really hard to reach the Caitlyn with anything other than poke.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be, I don't know, I mean,
like,
think Stormriders.
If they want to just go with it, I would actually suggest the Ashe to go for the poke build. But instead of going like what you would ordinarily think of that kind of thing for the mandate into the tier into this into that, I actually saw somebody do this in solo queue, and it actually worked very well. Go Hydra first. And the reason for it is that you can't poke her out, and with Presence of Mind, she effectively has infinite sustain.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. I wonder if
Is
for something like that.
Is it good? No. But it won, so, I mean... worth? Question mark? She did go tier first. I'll give her the fact that she did get tier. She didn't upgrade it until after the Hydra, but she did go tier as her starting item.
I am a bit concerned. Honestly, I'm concerned for both drafts. I don't think either one of them has a really good coherent identity. I think last game Stormriders really had a good comp with their double poke catch CC combo with the Lux Caitlyn, Morgana there to back that up, Sion there as a BP frontline, and Kayn doing whatever he wants. But this game, they have mediocre frontline with Viego, Urgot, some pick potential with Ahri and Morgana, and then tower siege with Caitlyn, and objective control if you're ahead. But Ahri and Varus is going to be a lot closer, at least pre-6, and then post-6, I think it's going to be a skill matchup. Top lane Urgot and the Cho'Gath, don't know enough about it. Think that's also a skill matchup, but I could imagine Urgot having a lot of difficulty getting out of Rupture. And then, I don't know, Viego, if Viego steals any champion, that's great. I just don't know if there's enough damage on Stormriders to kill a Sejuani and a Cho'Gath.
So I found the lore, and yes, I do see that Reese, you did mention Ionia for where Varus is from, but for where specifically, so at the end of the Darken War, a golden armored warrior queen carried Varus's bow to a land that would become known as Ionia, to the Temple of Pallas, which is located in Ionia.
Interesting. Alright, so as we have these champions getting locked in here, do you have any thoughts on what do you think the game's going to play out? How do we see it from here?
I kind of feel like it's going to play out a little bit slower, but about the same as last game. The thing that I actually do have, that I see from Imagine Shadows is that they play a much more slower game with this comp. Like even slower than last game. Like at least last game they had a lot of tools to. I mean yes they do in this game too, but like they had more tools to say we are starting a fight that are not ultimates. Here it is only their ultimates that are starting fights. So if something misses or if everything misses, then Imagine Shadows just says, "Alright, well, try again in 2 minutes, guys." Because it doesn't really have safe continuous lockdown unless if something of that happens first. And with the Morgana, I really hope the Morgana actually puts points into her E early. To counter that. And by that I mean like before 6, put a second point in. Because an extra quarter of a second of a stun or a snare is not as valuable as an extra like 100 points of your shield.
Yeah, I think the Morgana shield is going to be really, really key in this match. Between the Ashe ulti, the Sejuani ulti, the Varus ulti, the Cho'Gath ruptures, a million slow effects.
I actually
if that Morgana shield's not on point, it's going to be an issue.
I actually did come up with a comp where it was basically just everybody like, yes, we have like hard CC, but mostly the identity is just to slow them. And that's kind of what this does here. The Cho'Gath, the knockup has a slow effect after. Sejuani has 2 forms of slows, or 3 with the ultimates if it missed. Varus has the E. Ashe has the W, and everybody outside of the initial impact of the R is slowed, and Braum's Q slows as well as the after effects of the R. So it's about the same idea. Ah, yes, Cho'Gath E, but that's melee. I don't want to count that. Because there should be enough range with 4 ranged champions that the only one that should even be close to being in range is the Viego. Maybe Urgot. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean Urgot's like 200 range. I mean,
yeah, he counts. He counts as range barely.
Yeah.
He counts as range as much as Thresh does.
I mean, I sort of hate to say it with as trolly of an open to the draft as Imagine Shadows had. I do like their comp more going into this. I think their champions are too tanky.
Yeah, 3 pretty beefy frontliners versus like a Gwen and a Thresh from last game.
Yeah, like this game it's going to be like the Urgot has to do all the damage, but it's going to be so hard for Urgot to not just get CC'd and die. Even forgetting about ultis for a second, just Braum passive from be it Q or
Braum and Sejuani.
Yeah, Q or auto, Sejuani passive, and Cho'Gath rupture are just going to be such a nightmare for the Urgot. I don't think Viego can do anything until they get a kill. Ari is going to have to look for picks on the back line, but that can be pretty difficult if the Braum is on point, and we know Lygos was smurfing it last game, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt for now.
Yep.
And then Caitlyn's just, what's she going to do? She's hitting a Cho'Gath, a Sejuani, a Braum, like, I don't know.
And I could be wrong, but I think... Okay, no, so... Valentino was renamed from his original Hyper Expert, if I'm not mistaken.
Hyper Expert's on the other team.
I'm okay. So close. Hyper Expert is the lowest ranked player on red side, with Lygos coming out at second by a sizable margin. And the fact that he was performing the best is really, really kind of nice. Hyper Expert kind of is in a stuck point being in one of the more pivotal roles in mid lane. Mind you, he's also against one of the other lower ranked players on the opposing side. So the skill check does not have to happen in mid lane, which is good. But you still do have to perform. And while he did do pretty well, I don't think the Varus is the pick here. I really don't. I don't know if that's just like his best comfortable champion or something else, but I would much rather see something more streamlined for AP damage. But I've said enough for now. Let's go ahead and get in there. Chat, who do you think is going to win? Stormriders on the blue side, Imagine Shadows on the red side. Game point for Stormriders. Let's get in.
Secondary poll, will we be able to spectate the first time around without it?
Please. Please.
Alright, well, we'll have to see.
It's
pulling out a classic with the Nightmare Cho'Gath, if I must say.
It's literally a coin flip. Urgot actually went Conqueror.
I think that's pretty standard into a comp like this, right? Like, you're gonna be in combat for a really long time if you are winning.
If you're not dying,
yeah,
or crowd controlled for 20 years.
I wonder if there's anything else weird here. Not really. Like, I'm looking for champions you could take cleanse on. There isn't really any.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
I do like the Halo Blades from Varus. I do like that.
Yeah, he ran that last game too. It should be much better in the Ahri lane.
I
think I would have liked First Strike better last game, but into Ahri you'll be able to actually get auto trades off, so there should be...
I don't know if I agree with the Glacial Augment from the Morgana. I don't think I agree with that.
I'd rather see a Guardian.
Yeah,
I'm dead too.
Alright. Did you make friends with somebody?
I did make friends with Legos. I'm hoping that means I'm allowed to connect.
Alright, chat, sorry for the delay. Once again, Riot needs to fix their client. They never will, but they do need to fix their client. I'm just waiting for it to happen live. I know it's a different client, but like I'm just waiting for it to happen live.
It'll never happen live because they have like 4 observer streams open at once and they have everything sorted beforehand.
Yep. And then if it's just small technical issues, just making sure everything is going in just fine.
Yeah,
no worries.
The game for 10 seconds at the start, right?
Yeah. All right, I'll pause at 15 seconds.
Okay, sounds good. I'm in. So.
Okay.
I'm at 15 seconds.
It says Stormriders.
Alright, I'm ready whenever you are.
Alright. 3, 2, 1, go.
Alright. So as we get on into game here, let's see. We already discussed the Conqueror. Do have Aftershock on Sejuani, which is pretty common. Unless you're into a Trundle or something. Halo Blade? Not Halo Blades. Lethal Tempo coming out on the Ashe, indicating that she's probably going for a more auto-attack DPS focused build rather than poke, which I think I like here. They do need some damage coming from somewhere in team fights, and it's probably better her than Varus, I'm gonna guess, based on the choice to play Varus mid. Implies heavily that you want to play poke rather than auto attack.
Okay, I'm just transitioning to get the correct logo. I had to say it as Stormriders. It was their old logo, but nice knockup from the Cho'Gath. They're going in hot. We're getting a lot of quick damage off onto both the top and the jungle. Meanwhile, Ahri does come in with the charm, does get it off onto the Sejuani. Sejuani is so close to dying, and Ahri will be able to get this first kill with Viego picking it up. Meanwhile, Braum going in, flashing forward with the Q, with the Ignite. And it looks to be like that is all for right now.
I would have kept chasing if I was Braum.
I would have. No, we going.
Well, I mean, the Brahms top lane level 1, flash igniting someone. Yeah, I'm gonna keep going, man. Like
Like, it's already Doom anyways.
scuffed as it is, we're making this happen. But the first blood does go over to the side of the
Oh,
Stormriders
the
to the Ari.
scoreboard
And
fixed. There
should
we
be
go.
a bit of a jungle gap coming out here. Actually, no, there was no camp taken. Nothing.
Yeah, they didn't take the camp. Oh, but Viego's already coming back in hot onto this Cho'Gath. Cho'Gath does have flash. The flip comes out from the Urgot.
Kill a minion, Urgot. Please, just level up.
He did level up, but he's already too little too late. He does get a nice rupture off, and it looks like he's going to be able to escape since no more flashes from top or jungle.
Really nice rupture there, too.
Very nice. Lygo's trying to save face by hitting every Q onto this Caitlyn.
I think maybe there should have been a bit of a detour in the middle of that fight there for one auto on a minion from the Urgot for the level, but otherwise, really interesting gank timing coming out again from Alpha Pig. Saw it a lot last game on the Kayn as well. Just really, really aggressive, no holds bar ganks.
Like I said, he's landing every Q to save face. Oh my god.
Alright, as we...
Sejuani's coming. We do have another Q landing onto her. The Caitlyn is trying to flash over. She does get over with the heal and the flash being expended, and will be able to save her life. Morgana also flashed away, making sure she didn't get slowed too much from the Ashe.
Yeah, top lane in a bit of a freeze. We'll see if they'll be able to maintain it, but Viego's back up here. They want this.
Urgot got the slow off onto him. They are not charging up the stun. He is going for it, but he misses.
Yeah, just not enough anyways, even if he hits the stun there. Cho'Gath makes it out with the flash. And that's the flash he saved from earlier there.
Yeah.
So a lot of time on the map. Sejuani taking the bot side too. This Viego's gonna get gapped in CS. Like, we're already up 4 camps to 7? Or 6 rather?
6.
And it's
6.
only gonna get worse from here.
Come on, we graduated first grade math, right?
No.
Oh.
Did not. No math.
For those of you who did not, I'm sorry. I'm a programmer. I have to assume if not told otherwise. Meanwhile, Varus actually flashed. Yep, flashed to escape the Viego stun. Actually was good angle by the Viego, kind of predicting exactly where the Varus was going to flash.
Yeah, this bot lane actually not going as well as you'd like to see. The Caitlyn not able to maintain an advantage, which is really worrisome, I think, going into this mid game here. Ashe is just going to be so much...
Oh, the Hex Flash coming out hot. Doesn't actually get it off thanks to the trap. Ashe does return some damage to make sure that, you know, her Braum is safe.
Viego is on the bot side of the map here, though, so I would be pretty worried if I was on the side of Imagine Shadows here, but more damage coming onto this Caitlyn. The Hex Flash Braum is a...
that's a tech.
That's a spicy
that's
tech,
that's the tech right there. They do actually see the Viego, so they will be able to back off in time.
Otherwise, across the map, CS advantages in top and bot lane this time for Imagine Shadows. Gonna see if they can leverage that into any plays or item advantages going forward.
Yeah, and that's with First Blood going over to Stormriders. Nice flash from the Viego. The Charm coming out onto the Varus as well. Varus is going to be dropping very low. Doesn't get an ability off because his mana was too little, too late. Will be going down to the...
Yeah, good timing, but Varus just a little overextended there, right?
Going over to the Varus. No, it's Viego. I kind of wish that, like, the bottom scoreboard would at least stay the same, but everything changes.
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. The Viego.
Yep.
Issue. It's always confusing. And Tristana pentakills her own team?
It was the same with Nico.
Yeah.
But Nico wasn't popular enough to warrant much pro play after the Ginsu's nerf that happened way back when.
Yeah, it's always scuffed when you're casting Nico, and you're like, and the support is ganking top level. Wait a second.
Yeah, like Rek'Sai is here in waiting. It's like, wait a minute, that's Nico. That actually happened.
Flash Q there, not getting the ignite off. So interesting attempt for the solo kill. Perhaps a mechanical misexecution. Perhaps he's not in range.
Sejuani is just living in Viego's jungle.
Uh-oh.
Oh, nice binding onto Braum. Braum is taking aggro. He actually is going to be going down to the Morgana. Sejuani having to flash over the wall to escape from the Viego. Does take the blast plant and will be able to escape. Meanwhile, Ashe kind of going into darkness here towards Morgana and Caitlyn. That's not the best idea.
Yeah, it's not necessary at this point. Top lane's going pretty chill, if not for this CS.
Viego going in onto Varus. Varus dodging the charm from the Ahri. Doesn't actually get to live much longer and will be going down. No ultimate cast and will be resulting in his death. It's 2 kills over. Meanwhile, Sejuani with the point-blank ultimate basically onto the Morgana. Does give it over to the Ashe and will be making sure that Ashe doesn't go too crazy without her there. Kind of doing a wraparound here first, though.
Picking up the first kill for the side of Imagine Shadows this game. Maybe starting to think that they are practicing for next season with the way this game's going thus far.
Well, at least Lygos is getting his contract renewed next season, so...
Well, I think he gets to choose that himself, eh? Like...
Yeah, it's like...
I think there's going to be a lot of teams looking at him, seeing if they can...
All of them named...
The support position.
All of them Imagine.
Exactly. I mean, he based on these games, he wouldn't look out of place in Ionia or some of these higher divisions either.
Yeah, Shurima, Ionia, but you know, maybe Piltover. Probably not. Probably not. Maybe say Noxus, but on a more practiced team. Like, why are you getting your practice done in a playoff match? Get in and clash like the rest of us.
I mean, I in our finals up in Shurima, I first time Vex. That worked.
That should not have worked.
I mean, you were casting that game. I hard carried it.
Yeah, you actually kind of did.
It was a pretty spicy game.
Cho actually gets stunned. Meanwhile, Cho'Gath is flipped around by the Urgot. Kind of flashes away from it, but, you know, the Urgot already landed his ultimate. Varus going with the flash engage onto the Ahri. Ahri is getting her ultimate off and will be able to escape with the second R and the flash to go with it.
Yeah, that...
Viego coming in hot. Viego coming in hot. Has his ultimate. Has the smite. Gets the ultimate off from the Sejuani. Does miss it! The red smite is dropping him low. The Ahri isn't able to clean house, and that will be the death to the Viego for barely missing his R. Thinking that Sedge was going to try to panic and go a little bit faster, maybe?
But the R is the size of a deep dish pizza. How did you miss it? Oh man, that's so sad. Mid lane there. The Triumph allowing Sejuani to survive the challenging smite ticks as well.
I don't know why that became popular, but whoever did that made it popular. So now I always know that the Sejuani is going to live.
Yeah. More trading coming in bot lane. I don't think we'll see anything of it here.
Nah,
it's... going down onto the Braum.
Viego coming in hot. They do see it with that ward coming out.
Viego does not stop.
Top lane, however, this Cho'Gath's doing a lot of damage to Urgot. Jesus.
Yeah, I think this has got to be a bit of a rough lane for the Urgot.
He's going, what is it, the Everfrost.
Yeah, and you're so thick on the Urgot.
Oh, they're actually going in onto this with Viego just being around the corner. Braum goes in onto the Morgana immediately, does drop her, but now Viego cleans up the Ashe. Now both 80 carries he is going on to the Braum, gives it over to the Caitlyn, and that will be a 2-for-1.
And top lane, the Urgot picks up the solo kill on
Oh, what?
Cho'Gath. flips him under the turret there, I think.
He had to have. With
he was stunned under the turret, the Cho'Gath. Took 2 turret shots, and then the ulti just comes in and cleans up the last third of his HP.
Yeah, and bot lane...
Actually a really big throw.
Yeah, that was actually really big from both top and from bottom. Imagine Shadow kind of feeling themselves a little bit too much, actually. Bot lane kind of thinking, okay, Viego was just here, but he's not going to stick around, right? So let's go and throw both of our ultimates in onto the Caitlyn. Miss. I think the Ashe ult actually landed. Oh, Viego, you're being a bully. Stop it.
He's bullying someone. I don't know if he's bullying his own team right now, though. That's a bit troll going in. 1v2 under turret there.
If he actually did get, like, I think he didn't have his ultimate yet when he was under the tower, which is why he didn't continue. If he did, I think he just goes for it.
Maybe. I mean, he needs another rotation of skills, even with the ulti there.
Well, that's what Red Smite's for.
Maybe.
Oh, but we have the engagement here on top lane. The ultimate coming out from both the Sejuani, stunning him up, and then the Cho'Gath to eat him up.
It's maybe stop tanking those turret shots and put
drop the Rift Herald, maybe.
Herald. Yeah.
Yeah, but now they have to run away because here comes Viego.
Well, Ahri's here actually, so
we do actually get the teleport from the Varus, and that'll be it with 1 death for 1 teleport. Kind of not worth it for the Urgot.
I actually have to wonder about the Varus TP. I think it was stuck a little bit.
Yeah, like.
Even just taking the summoner in general, though, I think we're stuck a little bit in last year's meta.
Well, the weird thing is, we do actually have the ultimates coming out from both the Braum and the Ashe. The Ashe is getting dropped very low from the Caitlyn. Caitlyn is going to be turning around the damage onto the Braum. Braum having to block this ultimate from the Caitlyn and does get both of them out alive.
Yeah, just by the, honestly, by the resistances and the shield from Guardian there, the Braum lives.
Meanwhile, Urgot coming in hot. He's looking for that ultimate.
Oh, he's looking for it.
Oh, he doesn't get it onto the Ashe, but now Braum is the only one left. Doesn't actually land it. Does actually get the kill. Morgana gets it, actually. But they do drop the first tower mid lane for Imagine Shadow. We do have the sun coming out for Viego onto Sejuani. And does get her death. This time the ultimate landed.
Yeah, just being able to pick it up there. Viego doing quite well for himself right now. 10-4 on the scoreboard. Not a huge gold lead, though, and I have to imagine that's due to these CS differentials.
Exactly.
Across the board.
Mostly in top lane and jungle.
Yeah, top lane now. Bot lane has equalized.
Jungle is very not equalized in farm.
Yeah, that's, I mean, this is the trade-off, though, that you're going to take as the Viego. You've got a ton of ganks and a ton of summoners.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to go down a few camps for it, it's fine. Catch-up EXP exists, and...
Yep.
And who cares? You're getting kills. You're putting your team ahead. I think we can look to...
We can forgive it.
Both of these games now.
Meanwhile, Urgot is ganking, just running straight at the Cho'Gath. Does dodge the hard CC from both of them. Nice knockup, but here comes Viego with the cleanup. Does dodge that CC, but can't dodge all the damage. Does get as much lows and stuns as they can to try to slow down him, but they will be able to get the kill on the Cho'Gath and will be able to walk away.
I think both of the...
Meanwhile, in bottom lane, Sejuani going on to the Caitlyn. Caitlyn having to use the Gale Force to get away from the Sejuani. Just put a little bit of that distance till Morgana shows up.
Yeah, I think...
but here we have both... But here we have the bottom laners coming in onto both the Caitlyn and to the Morgana. Morgana is going to not be able to block the ultimate from the Sejuani. Braum flash ulting in onto both. Doesn't actually get it. Caitlyn tries to kill the Sejuani with her own ultimate. Lives at about 1 or 2% HP. They're trying to escape from the Urgot, now TPing in. Viego looking for the Ashe. Ashe is going to sacrifice her life for the Braum, as a support should.
Yeah, I think that both AD carries here really scuffing up their builds a little bit here. I think we're likely to see... Actually, I have no idea what we're going to see from the Ashe here. She might actually be building Gale Force.
It's shield bow.
Well, now she has a pickaxe. Okay, so now she just picked it up. Okay. She picked up the pickaxe, so I wasn't sure if she was just building the early lifesteal. But shield bow, I think, pretty disgusting here, seeing as the amount of skill shots that you need to dodge, and Caitlyn not going.
Meanwhile, Cho'Gath just ignoring the fact that he doesn't have any minions left, ignoring the Ahri under tower, ignoring everybody coming up to kill him. He's accepted it as his fate.
Yeah, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say he intended to die without giving an assist over there.
Morgana getting another binding off onto the Braum. Braum is taking... He's actually stepped on, like, 2 of those traps.
Three traps. No, the Braum cleared 2 of the traps that died.
Cleared 2 of them, walked back into the Morgana binding.
Trap it! That's not the right trap.
That's the right trap. Meanwhile, Sejuani hopping over this wall. Oh. Caitlyn failing the flash over and will be getting the drop onto them. Varus picking up the Morgana. Caitlyn going down to Cho'Gath. Meanwhile, on the top side, we have Urgot and Ahri taking out the inner tower with only Braum responding.
Yeah, I guess so. Tier 2 for the Ahri up top lane is going to bring him some gold back. Bounties, however.
Bounties, those are hot.
Yeah, 400.
Viego going in onto this. Doesn't have a way to actually get out of here. Varus picking up the kill, and here comes the Ash Arrow.
That was a different 400 gold from what I was referring to, but yeah.
Yeah, that's gold. We take those, right?
Yeah, 650 now, I think.
And they actually can't take it because now everybody's coming back alive, and back from wherever they were to stop them from taking that. But they will be able to pick up this Rift Herald. That's a 500 bounty, which I'll take those. We take those, right?
This is one of the more egregious bounties that I've seen.
I think that should actually be dropped, like how the outer versus inner towers work. Herald versus Baron should probably be dropped by a bit.
Well, even then, like, I don't mind the idea of Second Rift being worth a lot of gold to make you prioritize it, but just right now it's 2,500 gold, and you just got 1,000 gold back off objective bounties, meaning you're down 3k.
Oh, but Ash actually out of position, having to slow down as much as he can, but the ultimate comes out, the shield bow keeping her alive. Meanwhile, she still has the ultimate in a couple seconds coming up. Sejuani and Braum are here to back him up. The ultimate comes out from the Braum. Braum dodges the charm from the Ahri. Now we have in the backline the Viego towards the dragon. Sejuani coming in hot. They do get the ultimate off onto the Morgana. Morgana is going to get dropped very quickly to the Cho'Gath. Cho'Gath does not have his ultimate for the dragon fight. The dragon fight is going down very quickly. 1,000 damage, and Viego will be securing it. Cho'Gath getting the Q off onto the Morgana. Morgana is going to be able to walk away. Urgot is going down to both the Sejuani and to the Braum. Braum is going down to the Urgot. Viego coming back over the wall. Braum is going to be blocking with as Viego. Viego going down from the Varus. Or sorry, Viego's going down to the Cho'Gath. And Urgot went down to the Varus.
It's important to see if they're going to be able to capitalize with this Baron play that they're making now. 3 members down, 2 members now with the Caitlyn respawning. It's going to be a really, really tight window. Ash has lifesteal, so she's not going to take too much damage from the AoE from the Baron. It's going to be really quick. I can't see the HP on my screen. We can see it on your screen, though.
7k. Going down. Ash isn't doing damage onto it. Does get charmed up and goes down immediately to the Caitlyn and to the Ahri. The Sejuani uses... Sejuani doesn't even smite it. She didn't have it up available. Cho'Gath has the ultimate, but already flashed over the wall. He doesn't have a way back over. Viego is not here yet.
Next season.
The knockup does come up from them. Viego is in the pit. Now it's up to the Varus to get any kind of a steal off of damage. We do have it going down, and it goes down. Viego does secure it. Braum going in as fast as he can, but will be going down to the well even faster. Meanwhile, the Urgot does get the ultimate off onto the Viego, or onto the Varus. Varus does get dropped from his ultimate. Viego gets the reset and will be going down to both.
It's scuffed. They did it.
They secured the next season.
Not quite yet, but they're looking towards it. 5k gold lead now. Lots of unspent gold in inventory. Baron buff to leverage. And 3 dragons on the board to 0. 21 minutes in this game, and a pretty good snowballing comp at that.
Now you're forgetting, Sejuani still has this Rift Herald.
Well, she does.
It's not going to do anything at this point, because she's going to not be able to cast it before she gets the opportunity to.
I wonder if she's keeping track of that.
It's actually about to expire. It's got, like, what, 20 seconds, maybe? So, quick question. Was I Rap God at that dragon fight, or what?
Just a bit.
Sejuani going in onto the Urgot. Urgot is going to be stunned up by the Ashe. Ashe is going to be using the Rivali. Meanwhile, the Sejuani is going to be trying to make sure that they can get this down for the Urgot, or for the Cho'Gath. Cho'Gath is TPing into the mid lane to make sure that they don't drop that tower, but the mid lane tower is going down. The inhibitor tower is staying alive. Meanwhile, Varus is TPing in as well. Very awkward teleport coming out from him. But the Rift Herald is going to be dropped here into the mid lane of all places. Whereas you have so many towers in the bottom lane, guys. You could have dropped it there, and it would have been fine.
This is not going to get a charge off. I can assure you of that.
But if it does,
bait them to die trying it.
Yeah, no, it's not. They're just, yeah. Morgana takes some damage for it, and that's all that really happens.
I mean, they gave gold over, too.
They gave 50 gold over. Good job.
I mean, they gave a lot of EXP over, actually.
That's actually more important than they gave XP over.
25 gold and 100 and some XP.
Yep.
If you drop it bot lane for pressure, it makes sense, but there it's not quite as useful.
So, you know when you kill, like, the Baron Dragon, it drops 2 souls for Thresh and Senna? Well, for the Rift Herald, if you kill it in the lane, it would also drop 2 souls.
Yeah.
So,
luckily, none
4
of that
souls.
happening here.
Easy peasy, guys.
What are we looking at for this game here? I don't know what the dragon spawn timer is. Is that?
I don't know either. We do not have a way to keep track of that because Riot doesn't like fun.
But once that dragon's coming up, which must be in about a minute or 2.
Yeah, it's less than a minute because the hourglass is on the portrait down here. Meanwhile, we have a fight happening with the Caitlyn dropping the Varus from 90 to 50%.
And Varus doesn't have any sustain here either.
And he's still trying to stack up his tier. Hey chat, would you like to take a bet?
I'll take this bet against you. I don't know what we're betting.
Alright, so will Varus complete his tier before the game ends? Meanwhile, we have the engagement happening with the Sejuani whiffing her ultimate. Viego does get dropped very quickly. Meanwhile, the Urgot onto the back line will be dropping very quickly for everybody else. Meanwhile, the Ashe, the Varus, and the Braum will all be going down to the other 3. Meanwhile, Urgot's just chasing down this Cho'Gath after being bullied for quite a while in the lane phase.
Yeah, it seems like another first seed curse coming on here.
Yeah, it happens. It happens to the best of us, except T1, except T1, except T1. They're just better than everybody.
Yeah, it seems to happen quite a lot in CEAL though. These first seed teams come in, they don't get the practice in the first round of playoffs, and they just sort of scuff it in their first match, and it looks like it's going to happen again here. The game's not over yet, but it's looking pretty
Sejuani going on to the Caitlyn. Caitlyn is trying to drop as many traps as she can. She does get 1 trap off. She gets 2 traps off. She gets the ultimate off onto the Sejuani. Urgot finishes off the kill. Meanwhile, the crowd control from both the Cho'Gath and the Ashe are going on to the Urgot. Urgot does get dropped. Meanwhile, the Ashe gets absolutely obliterated.
Yeah, this one is the no boot upgrade AP Morgana.
So
nope.
As we see the Varus die again.
Trap either, Varus, it's okay.
There were a lot of bodies. There's like 4 bodies where the trap is. I understand.
That one was pretty sus. All right, you know what?
I'll give him that one. We'll give him a pass for that one. You get 1.
I feel a bit bad about that.
I'll give him that one. That was not fair.
Three of the largest bodies in League of Legends covering.
Yep. Only was missing Cho'Gath.
Yeah.
So, for a quick story of the bet, ZZ Dog knows, Shadow knows. In your match, the top lane Ornn in game 2.
Oh no, I watched it. I know. I just don't.
For those of you at home who don't know,
connected to pay you for what happens. You know?
So what it was is just a quick one sub bet, whether the guy would finish his tier or not. Varus is at 280 stacks at 27 minutes. Will he finish the tier item before the game ends? Yes or no? Meanwhile, the Sejuani is getting dropped very low. The Viego will be able to pick that off. The Urgot did miss his ultimate, though, which can be crucial for any would-be steals coming from this Cho'Gath.
Yeah, Cho'Gath doesn't quite have ulti yet, but should. Looking for the pick, though, and won't be able to get it, it looks like.
Cho'Gath does have his ultimate. He does have flash in just a couple of seconds. Meanwhile, the Ashe was taken down from the Viego. Viego getting resets off onto the Braum. Now goes on to the Cho'Gath. Cho'Gath is down. There is no steals available left for them. And that will be the second Baron going over to Stormriders. Brandon says no, he will not complete it.
I think Varus currently has the negative gold. Unlikely he will complete it. Unlikely he will find 1,000 gold before this game ends.
I was planning on giving a sub anyways tonight, just because, but for the sake of the memes, I'll take the bet as that he will complete it. He'll complete the stacking of it. He's probably not actually going to finish the item.
Oh yeah, I think he's gonna finish the stacking for sure. I mean, he's already done stacking, so.
It's at 279.
On your screen, it's 360 on mine, sir.
Oh really? Did it screw up again?
I don't know. Well, it's wrong on one of our screens. I don't know.
Hey, Brandon, you bet no. I was planning on giving the sub anyways. Meanwhile, we do have a major fight that broke out. 4 dropping, 5 dropping. That is the quadra kill for Caitlyn. Only 1 stolen, and I believe that was actually from the Urgot's ultimate. But that will be the swift 2-0 from Stormriders over the number 1 seed from the Noxian division, Imagine Shadows. We will be seeing Stormriders next week playing up against Orange Forge Esports Academy. But before we get out, I want to see if we can get a post-game interview. Do you have any words to say before we get anybody in here?
Well, really, not a lot. Just really good showing coming out from Stormriders here, and it's exciting to see if they'll be able to continue this lower bracket run into the finals.
Yeah, I was very happy with that. That was very good gameplay. Yeah, that was two upsets now with both semifinal matches in the Noxian playoffs.
Yeah, it's complacency perhaps from these top place teams in these divisions, just not prepared for these upstarts coming up from below them.
Yep. Yeah, so let me see if I can take a quick gander. Orange Forge was the 3rd seed, so it'll be the 3rd and 4th seeds playing against each other for the finals. And we do have our post-game interviewee. Please welcome Alpha Y.
Hello.
How do you do?
I'm alright. Actually, I'm great. Actually, after that series, it was pretty fun.
So, I gotta say, congratulations. You guys pulled up the upset in a 2-0 fashion. Tell me, was that expected, or was that just completely taken by surprise?
I won't say it was a surprise, but it definitely wasn't expected. I did go into today feeling really confident. I wanted my revenge for week 1.
Yep.
Kind of similarly to how Orange Forge Esports Academy got their revenge. So I wanted that rematch against them. So that was kind of our driving force. We wanted to get that revenge versus Wookiee specifically. So and then it was just playing for trying to win for next week.
Sounds good. Can you talk about maybe your preparation, if you had anything specific in mind aside from hovering Wukong and jungling?
Okay, yeah, so hovering Wukong definitely trolled, but it's fine. So we kind of just went into the match knowing that they probably wanted to play through their bot lane. So we kind of just said, hey, we have a really strong jungler. Bot lane, play like you're scared, and then it's fine. We'll have the jungler come down. Which really didn't happen too much. Actually, the jungler kind of came towards top side and helped me out quite a bit. And then, the mid lane was kind of winning out the Varus matchup. We were really surprised about that Varus pick, but we just kind of said, all right, we're just going to play a control mage and beat it.
Yeah, and that seemed to work out really good for you guys. Alpha Y sort of ran over this entire series, especially in the early games. Do you have any thoughts on that? Was this expected, or is this just an overperformance on the day?
Well, I would say in our team we have anyone who could carry, but the typical carry is usually Alpha Pig, the jungler, my brother actually, and then I kind of just happen to say I'm usually the one who plays shot calls early game, and he usually shot calls late game, and so we just tried to plan some good invades with especially the Morgana Lux comp that we did, and it didn't work out. But the game 2, it sort of worked out, even though it shouldn't have, and I don't know. It was really a crappy game 2 for me in the top lane as Urgot, because I got put behind by a whole level, down the creeps versus Cho'Gath, who was building AP, and I'm just like, this sucks. But overall, yeah, no, we went into the day planning for, hopefully I could just, play weak side top lane and then play through bot mid.
Yeah, I think your both teams' secret strategies kind of worked out in the end. Imagine Shadow was practicing for next week for the off season, and Stormriders, you guys, you jungle, you ward, you hover Wukong.
Yes.
I was actually kind of impressed with how Lygos was performing. Was there any comments? Was there any comments from your bottom lane like, this guy's, how is he doing? What the fuck?
So game 1, we were like, Thresh was annoying, but we weren't scared of it. Game 2, we were just like, we saw the Braum picked in, we're like, we weren't so much scared of the Ashe as we were the Braum. It's just like, but we were like, okay, we could just play Morgana into it. So the bot lane was annoyed at times, but they were chill the whole time, to be fair. We were kind of very confident as the game went on, especially after game 1.
Very nice, very nice.
Is there... Go ahead, Ansel.
Any last thoughts before we close out for the evening?
I just want to, say GG to Imagine Shadows, and of course congratulate the rest of my team. They played their asses off, and I mean, I couldn't ask for I couldn't be more happy with how our day went and how our season's gone.
Awesome. Any messages to your opponents in the finals?
Wookiee, I'm coming for you.
Wookiee,
Awesome.
I'm coming for you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Ansem, do you want to head us off here?
I will head us out here. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We will see you next time. Good night, everybody.